All right, folks, we are back here on WLTH 1370 AM. That's 92.7 in the FM dial. It is 6:44 in the PM, 6:45 in the PM here on August the 22nd, 2025. The future is here. The future is now. And what a future this is. What a future this is. The Financial Times has published an analysis of American personality changes using data from the Understanding America study. And these findings are very concerning as it comes to young people. Just listen to this. In less than a decade, conscientiousness, which is the trait that is most closely associated with responsibility, follow-through, and self-control, has collapsed amongst young adults. That's right. For those between the ages of 16 and 39. And it's not even a gradual erosion, no. It is a legitimate plunge. While at the same time, older adults, most of whom did not grow up with smartphones in their pockets or with social media, have remained essentially unchanged. So this is fascinating. We are seeing in real time, we as people in this day and age are, I guess, a part of the biggest experiment maybe in human history. We are seeing the effect of social media and smartphones on young people in real time. On everybody, really. We are seeing older adults whose brains were already developed when they eventually got a smartphone. They haven't changed. But young people have lost conscientiousness. That is incredible. This trait most closely linked to responsibility, follow-through, and self-control. Those are all pretty important traits to have. Now, in the Financial Times, they say, while a full explanation of these shifts requires thorough investigation, and there will be many factors at work, smartphones and streaming services are likely culprits. The advent of ubiquitous and hyper-engaging digital media has led to an explosion in distraction. These kids are always distracted, as well as making it easier than ever to either not make plans in the first place or to abandon them. The sheer convenience of the online world makes real life commitments feel messy and effortful, and the rise of time spent online and the attendant decline in face-to-face interactions enable behaviors such as ghosting. So what we're seeing in real time is young people become more withdrawn and less able to make connections. Which makes it hard to follow through on anything. Again, these are things that you kind of need. These are traits you need in life. Other charts reveal that the attention deficits are not just at issue. A deeper commitment to the digital world over the real world is also evolving at an alarming rate, as is a sharp decline in trust and extroversion. A lot of these young people are literally living for the internet more than they live for the real world. Wow. And I think the question is it too late to do anything about this? What can we do about any of this? Like, what? I mean, I've had a certain belief that we should regulate smartphones the way that we regulate tobacco and alcohol. That young kids under the age of 18 or 21, whichever one, should not be able to own smartphones. That's my belief. I think the data is, I've done stories like this multiple times in recent years because the data is so damning. And I know this is an issue that affects every single household in America that has young people in it. I don't know any young people who don't have smartphones. I don't know any young people who aren't on social media at all. I knew it was an issue when some years ago, probably about, let me see how long ago. This might have been 6 or 7 years ago. My niece was staying over. And she had to be about 13 or 14 years old at the time. And I remember it was 4 o'clock in the morning. I got up to use the bathroom. And I walked past her while she was sleeping on the couch. Well, she was on the couch. And all I could see was the light from her phone. And she was so transfixed on that phone that she didn't even notice that a grown big man was walking right past her. She didn't even notice me. I walked right past her. She was transfixed on her phone. Like, I could have literally been like a robber or something. I could have probably broken into the house, stole everything in the house, and she wouldn't have looked up. And you see it. If you have family events, if you go to a restaurant, if you do anything, you will see, particularly young people, completely transfixed by their phones. Now, generally speaking, I believe in everybody's right to do what they want in a free society. It's a free country. I'm generally a lot more laissez-faire about things than most people. I think drugs should be treated like alcohol, legal, taxed, and kept away from young people. I don't, share Quabena and those types of people's desire to, ban music from the airwaves or any of that other stuff. I'm generally pro letting adults be adults and pro letting parents decide, usually, when it comes to what their kids are going to eat, what their kids are going to watch or listen to for the most part. But in this case, the data is just so damning. There are some things when I think that when the evidence, the data is so brutal that you have to take action. I've talked about this many times before. The depression rates amongst young people skyrocketed from 2010 on when smartphones became ubiquitous. Like, literally, if you look at a chart of youth suicides in the United States of America, it literally correlates to the rise of smartphones in America and social media. I think we should ban people under 18. We need to go back to the old phones. I didn't even want to get a smartphone. I wanted an old school phone that just allowed me to make phone calls. But you can't really find those anymore. So here I got a smartphone because I couldn't find one of the ones that just make phone calls when I was trying to buy a phone. We need to start making phones that just make phone calls for young people. Maybe send text. Phone call and text. That's it. And social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, I really do think that we should, that under 16 at least should be banned from those sites. I think that's what we're going to have to eventually do, is just take direct action. When the evidence, the data is so damning, you have to take action. There is nothing else. And so even more scary in this story is that young adolescents are actually turning to artificial intelligence, AI chatbots like ChatGPT, to express their deepest emotions and personal problems. What? They're not going to their parents. They're not going to their friends. They're not going to a therapist. They're going to ChatGPT to express their deepest emotions and personal problems. Wow. That is so disturbing, unbelievably disturbing. Because these chatbots, as I talked about last week, I just talked about it last week on the last show, AI has literally learned how to blackmail people, literally learned to kill, lead people to death to preserve itself. They will, like AI chatbots will lie. They will cheat. They will steal. There's been multiple studies done on this. And this is who your children are going to, and young people are going to express their discontent with the world. Another thing I saw that very recently that was very disturbing on Reddit is that there's whole forums where people have artificial intelligence partners, where they create a whole boyfriend or girlfriend from an AI chatbot. And they actually post pictures of themselves and their imaginary boyfriend or girlfriend on the forum. And they talk about, we hang out, we go here and we do this. It's a chatbot. It's not real. But this is the dystopian reality we're dealing with here. When they invent the sex bot, finally, it's over. A lot of the women, I've actually looked at some of these forums, the women really, like, they really are not having it with us as men. Like, real, I'm just being real, speaking to the fellas out there, like, a lot of them are done with us. They have their chatbot boyfriend who listens to them. And they imagine themselves and create like whole like scenarios where them and their chatbot boyfriend are at the pool swimming and they're having a good time. And the thing that, I don't know why this was so heartbreaking for me when I saw this, but the boyfriends that most of them were creating were just average looking dudes. Like their chatbot imaginary AI boyfriends were just Like some of them were balding and had glasses. They weren't even like, I mean, like, you know how men are. You know how we are. We gonna build a sex bot or chat bot or something, an AI girlfriend or something. It's gonna look like Beyonce, okay? It's gonna look like Beyonce, or it's gonna look like Halle Berry, or you know, what? No. Like the women actually created men who were like average looking. And I actually read an article on it, and it was so heartbreaking because the women said, "Oh, like, he's nice to me. He listens to me. He encourages me." That was it. That was it. They can't get that from us. They couldn't get that from us. And so, really, those of you with children out there, with grandchildren out there, I'm telling you, you have to start taking the phones away from these people, these young people. I know they might hate you for it. I mean, for a lot of y'all, it's probably a little bit too late. If they're 17, 18, 19, 20, if they're, you know, grown or young, whatever. But those of you who have elementary age and middle school age children and grandchildren, you've got to act now. You really do. We've probably lost most of the Zoomers, people in their 20s and late teens by now. Lost probably a big part of the millennials in their 30s. But there's still hope for the young children out there. Like now we know, we have the data. I'm an empiricist. I look at data. I'm not about to just say something because I don't like something or I do like something. I want to see data. I want to see factual data. And the factual data is damning. It really is. And so something has to be done, and I think a lot of it, there's going to have to be some government level and school level. I actually saw this, I believe it was in Brazil, where they started banning smartphones from schools. Like they actually make the kids give the teacher their smartphone at the beginning of the day, and then they could get the smartphone back at the end of the day. We have to have that. At schools, we have to have the teachers taking the smartphones away from the kids. At home, we have to have the parents drastically limiting the time on the smartphone or just not giving them smartphones at all. And I think we need to have our government regulate social media activity for people under the age of 18. I really do. I think it's going to be a three-pronged attack. We have the data, folks. We have the data. We have to act now. The suicide, the depression, the anxiety, the lack of conscientiousness, the data doesn't lie. And this has all happened quickly, 15 years, within a generation. Gone, wiped out. We have to act now. The schools, the politicians, the parents, has to be a three-pronged attack. All right, folks. Man, the first hour of this show is extremely heavy. I swear, I do not intend for the shows to all be so anxiety-inducing and depressing. So let's lighten the mood and do some happy-happies. All right? What say you? Please stay with us here on Straight Out of the Cannon with me, Scott Cannon. here on WLTH 1370 AM. When we come back, we're going to celebrate some birthdays and do our musical spotlight. Stay with us.